Hey fam, let's have a real conversation. No shame, no filters, just plain honesty. We're talking about lust. Yeah, that heavy word that usually makes people shift in their seat. Most people hear lust and immediately think sexual. And yeah, sexual lust is a big one, but it's not the only kind. So let's break it down. What lust really is, the different types, why it's a problem, how it shows up, and most importantly, how we can beat it. All right, so first, what exactly is lust? Lust is basically a deep craving for something, usually something you know deep down isn't good for you, or at least not in the way you're chasing it. It's more than attraction. Lust is when desire hijacks your mind and starts making your decisions for you. Lust doesn't want to wait. It doesn't care about boundaries. It just wants what it wants right now. Jesus put it like this in Matthew 5:28. But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart. That verse, it hits. Because it's not just about what you see, it's about how you desire it. So here's the question. Is this desire glorifying God? Or is it just feeding your flesh? At the core, lust is this, an ungodly desire for anything. Now let's talk types, because lust doesn't come in just one flavor. Of course, there's sexual lust, craving someone's body without caring for their heart or their mind. And I'm not going to front, as a guy, this one's hard to dodge, unless you live in a cave or deleted the whole internet. Social media, movies, ads, billboards, music videos, it's everywhere. But that's not all. There's lust for money, chasing the next bag, even if it costs your peace, your integrity, or your soul. These days, people will do anything for cash, even if it clearly goes against God's ways. That's lust too. Then there's lust for power, wanting to control everything, wanting to be seen, heard, obeyed, no matter what. Even if it means stepping on people to stay on top, that's lust. And how about the lust for attention? This one's wild right now, especially with clout culture. Posting wild stuff, saying wild stuff, doing wild stuff, just to be noticed. Somebody once said, to go viral these days, you gotta be crazy. But let's be real, that's not true. You don't have to lose your mind to be valued. You just need to give value and stay consistent. Here's the bottom line. All these types of lust come from the same root, a selfish desire that's out of control. 1 John 2:16 says, for everything in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life comes not from the Father, but from the world. So why is lust such a problem? Because it's sneaky. It promises pleasure, but delivers emptiness. It makes people feel like objects, and it makes you chase things that never satisfy, again and again, with nothing to show for it. It's like shooting blanks, loud, dramatic, but no real result. And worse, it puts distance between you and God, not because God walks away, but because you start hiding. Why? Because lust brings guilt, and guilt makes you run. Meanwhile, the enemy, he's sitting back, watching, whispering, just one more click, just one more DM, just one more scroll. He can't make you sin, but he'll keep dropping bait, hoping you'll stay long enough to bite. Romans 8 verse 5 lays it out. Those who live according to the flesh have their minds set on what the flesh desires, but those who live according to the Spirit have their minds set on what the Spirit desires. Translation? Whatever you feed is what will lead. So how does lust actually show up? Sometimes loud, sometimes low-key. It's not always obvious. Sometimes it slips in through that harmless scroll through suggestive content, daydreaming about someone you barely know, watching a show and lingering just a little too long, sliding into someone's DMs, especially that ex you know you shouldn't be texting, wishing you were someone God never called you to be, or wanting revenge on someone who hurt you. Lust doesn't always look dirty. Sometimes it just looks harmless, but give it space and it will grow. Again, Matthew 5:28, Jesus said, anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. It starts internally long before it ever becomes physical. So how do we fight this thing? Let me break it down. 1, be real with yourself. Call it what it is. Don't sugarcoat it. Know what triggers you and be honest about it. 2, feed your spirit more than your flesh. Don't just stop the bad, replace it. More prayer, more worship, more time in the Word. Psalm 199-9 says, how can a young person stay on the path of purity? By living according to your word. 3, don't battle alone. Talk to someone, a trusted friend, a mentor, a group. Lust thrives in silence. James 5:16 says, confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. 4. Run when you need to. Yes, run. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is leave. Don't try to wrestle it out, just bounce. 1 Corinthians 6:18 says, flee from sexual immorality. You're not weak for running, you're wise. And finally, at the end of the day, lust doesn't have to control you. It might be loud, but God is louder. You can win. One step at a time, one choice at a time. God's not asking for perfection. He's asking for willingness. And if you're willing, He's ready. You got this. Let's keep growing. God bless.